Dating someone new. How often should you have sleepovers? I don't know. But if you're going to find out, stay tuned.
Hey, Blissful friends. Welcome back to another episode. Y'all, what's up? I'm your girl, Cece, and I'm joined by my hubby. What's up, babe?
Hey, this is Will, and thank you for joining us today. Yes, we're glad to have you. If it's your first time with us, please remember to subscribe. This podcast, it comes out every Saturday, and we talk about
love, life, family, relationships. Y'all know what we do here. You guys know what we talk about here. So glad to have you guys back. Okay.
Listen, before we get into the topic of the day, we'd like to go into what we call our blissful moments. So let's get into it.
So yes, guys. So yes, our blissful moment is, of course, our little baby girl's birthday was last weekend. We had a great time, which was fun. Everything that she wanted, she got. Okay, nothing too crazy. And I feel like, you know, when your kids want something, you gotta do what you can to make it happen for them. And I would say this, you know, when it comes to our daughters, we're very grateful for them because they don't go all out. They don't go crazy when it comes to the things that they want.
You know, some funny happened, and I was like, I'm good with it. We're going with it. They were in the store and they found something, and each one said, okay, we're going to get this. We're going to get this. But before we did go, and we said, hey, this is what you have to spend. And they got the stuff, and after we paid, they're like, this is more than we had. Yeah. So without us, I'm like, yeah, we're going with it. And I think you saw the little one probably mentioned it first, or was it the older one?
The older one.
Yeah, and she's like, these are too expensive. We're gonna return them because that's not.
So here's what happened. Was. Let me tell the people what really happened. Yeah. So we went to Starbucks and get our drinks. Yeah. You know, y'all. I'm like, love these green drinks. Okay. So this is what happened when you're eating healthy. You don't want to do like crazy sugar.
This thing is sweet.
It doesn't have a lot of sugar.
Okay.
Listen, leave me alone. It doesn't have a lot of sugar. But here's what happened. We went to Starbucks and then we were like getting my drink. And then she's like, Mommy, we don't really have to get these extra toys that we were planning on getting because it went over the budget. Okay. And Daddy's like, it's okay. You know, if you girls want them, it's fine. We'll get them for you. And they were very adamant about it. They're like, no, we don't have to get them. We don't have to. So they kind of feel bad. They feel so bad to the point we had to go back into customer service and return them because I told them this is the budget. And mind you, it was over $100, right?
Yes.
And they were like, no, that's not what we talked about. And this is what I'm talking about. Raising kids and that know of financial needs or financial literacy, you guys, is so important.
Yeah. And it started with us setting a budget. And that's something we do when we go with the kids. We let them know this is what you have to spend.
Yes. And
the goal is to find things within their budget. And it's good teaching them that if you have this much to spend, you don't spend more than
yes. And mind you, it's not just one gift. Mind you, if it's her birthday, she gets 2 gifts and the little one get 1. If it's the little one's birthday, the little one gets 2 gifts and the other one gets 1. So y'all know what we're talking about. LOLs. If you have little girls, you know LOL is not cheap. Okay. Those LOL dolls, they're not cheap at all. My mom is like, don't go ahead and buy these kids more toys because they have tons. It's true. The girls have a lot of toys. However, we want it to be what they want. And of course, we want to surprise them. But then at the same time, we're like, hey, what you want to get, you go get what you want to get. And then
as long as it falls within the budget.
As long as it falls within the budget, yes. And we had a good time. The girls had a good time, you know. And of course, Thanksgiving was fun. I feel like that's another blissful moment. We had a great time. You know, my parents and of course my mother-in-law had.
I finished the project. I finished the bathroom before Thanksgiving.
I guess that is your blissful moment.
That's my blissful moment. Now I can relax a little bit.
Kind of sort of, because I feel like our mom's gonna have more projects.
Yes, but it really worked. We did 2 bathrooms. The first one took a whole lot more time because we were taking our time, but the second one we had to really speed things up.
Listen, the second one.
We had 3.5 weeks.
Yes.
Working Saturdays and maybe half a day during the week to get it all done. We're talking about tearing it down to the stud and build it all back up.
Yes. Y'all gonna see it on his channel. Y'all gonna
the day of Thanksgiving, I went in early to do one slight final painting.
You did.
Yes. I was able to get it wrapped up. So yeah, it's good. But yeah, it was good. This was a productive week.
It was. Okay. We had fun with our family. You know, we had fun. I mean, I feel like for me, Thanksgiving was all about family, as always. But this year, we have my auntie, you know.
Try to convince my mom to join us.
We call my mother-in-law, like, come over to my parents. She's like, I'm okay, I'm good. But we had to respect her.
Yeah. My mom, when she's home, she's not leaving.
Your mom, when she's home. What we should have done, we should have stopped by and pick her up. And then.
Maybe that would have worked.
Yeah, that would have worked.
Yeah, maybe that would have worked.
I doubt it. Knowing my mother-in-law,
but you had to let know beforehand.
Like, no.
The only way that it would have worked, you would let know beforehand, maybe 2 days before.
She would have.
And then when you get home, when she gets home, you there waiting.
She probably would have.
Because she would feel bad about disappointing you.
Yeah.
She'll probably go, but
yeah. But knowing my mother-in-law, she's like, no, listen, my auntie, you know, her first Thanksgiving here in America. Okay. Listen, she's like, what's all this? She's never seen sweet potatoes before. And
not sweet potatoes, sweet potato casserole.
Yeah, there you go.
Which I made.
Which
was crazy sweet.
And then you left the butter in the microwave. The next day,
I didn't need to add more fat to the thing. That's probably why.
It was good.
Forgot the butter.
It was good. Overall, Thanksgiving was great. You know, my sister-in-law decided to make the turkey instead of my brother because she's like,
so it wasn't burnt this year.
It was good. We'll have footage. We'll show you guys. But overall, we had a very great, I feel like the holiday starting out very good.
Yeah. You know? So I got to put up the Christmas lights.
So, yeah. And that's this weekend. We'll see if that's going to happen. Anyways.
That's our blissful moment.
Sorry, it was long.
It was a long one.
It was a long one, but hey, listen, we had birthdays, we had Thanksgiving, and y'all know the holidays here. We have another birthday coming up soon in mine.
2 birthdays.
And then, listen, December is all busy. I feel like we have a party every weekend the month of December. Yes, we've been invited to like a party almost every weekend the month of December. Hey, listen, we're here to party, so let's go ahead and start this podcast and party with y'all. I don't know what my husband has for you guys today. What do you have for them today, baby?
Oh, they already know already. You know, when you're dating someone new, how often should you spending time over at their place? Yeah. Doing things.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, when you're in a new relationship, right? Questions will come up.
Yes.
Should I do this?
Yes.
Should I do that?
Yes.
And you sometimes may compare it to past relationship.
Yes.
Did that feel okay? Did it not? And sleepover is always a question that comes up. If I'm going to sleep over, and you know, when you sleep over, things happen.
Yeah.
So if you meet someone the first day, maybe sleeping over may not be quite where you jumped in. But, you know, relationship can get complicated.
I can't really say we all been there because I was never there.
I couldn't have her to come sleep over. Well, here's the thing. When you're living at your parents, you can't have sleepovers.
Yeah. I mean, I think it is a great question, right? Then again, I feel like sometimes it depends on the person.
Well, it always
because we all have different level of comfort, right?
We all have different ways of living. There's no way I can have
level of comfort.
There's no way I can have a sleepover at my parents.
Yeah. Listen, my dad would have killed me. my mom probably first, yeah, because I've never experienced that before. It wasn't something that both our side of the family would have allowed. My parents, if I'm missing, either something happened to me, or I'm in church, or I'm in school, or I am at work.
Yeah, you can't be over at my place.
I can't. And then if I'm having a sleepover at someone's house, I will be dead. Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of the same thing for me. I couldn't sleep over at someone's place, and I couldn't have someone sleep at my place. In fact, I didn't own a place.
Yeah, because here's the thing. Our parents are very old school, and I truly feel like when we were dating, either he comes to my parents' house or I'll go to his parents' house, and then we'll be, in the living room watching TV or watching a movie or some sort, and our parents would be around. His mom will be in the kitchen watching us, which is the way it's supposed to go. Like, I mean, I'm a Christian woman.
For some people, just like we mentioned, it comes down to your living conditions. That doesn't mean sleepover is a bad thing.
Listen, I feel like even if you had your own place, it would have never worked out for me.
Well, they wouldn't. Well, yes. If you were still living at your parents, even if I had my own place, you couldn't come and sleep over.
No.
Yeah, I guess we weren't the type who experienced sleepover, but that doesn't mean sleepover is a bad thing. Many couples have been experiencing that in their relationship.
I mean, I guess so too. Like I said before, it has to do with different level. If it works for you, then it works for you. And I think when it comes to that too, when it comes to having, whether if you want to have your partner come over, it has to do with communication, right? As we mentioned a lot on this podcast, I feel like communication is the key, as always.
Oh, yes.
As always. It's not about, there's some people that will allow you come over on the weekends, and then like Monday to Friday, Monday to Thursday, you do what you do, and then I do what I do.
Yeah, and this is where communication comes. You gotta be able to communicate to your partner what your expectations are, right. And between the two of you, you'll find something that works. Mm-hmm. Some guys may not want you there every day, and I may not want to be at your place every day either. So, but there need to be boundaries. You can't just be at the person's place whenever you want to.
Right.
So, but communicate ahead of time. This is what we're going to do, and this is how it's going to happen. And if both of you guys are comfortable with that,
I agree. Like I said before, it would never work out for me and my husband because we were very like,
we were different.
We were very different. We feel like we are carrying that old school with us.
Oh, my kids are not having no sleepovers.
Yeah. Listen, one of my daughter's friend, my oldest, her friend was like, we are having sleepovers on this Friday from 5 until whenever you guys want to leave. And my husband was like, who? My daughter? No. Mm-mm. He's like, no. It's not our thing. I know some people may feel like it's okay. Parents are going to be around. But when it comes to me and my husband, we very much like, if my daughter's somewhere, we're going to be there. If they having a kids party, we're going to be that parents that's hanging around and be at the party.
We'll let them have their party, but we'll be within distance where we can see them.
Yeah. I feel like some parents are just let them do whatever. Yes, some parents are different. However, I truly feel like we very much like similar to our parents.
Listen, we choose to raise our kids the way we want to.
Yes, we are that millennials.
And I think when they get to the stage where they're dating, we're probably going to do the same thing.
We're going to the movies and we're coming along.
I don't know if that's going to play out.
Oh, we are going to be there.
Well, we may find ways.
We're going to be like the bad boys.
Air tags.
We're going to be bad boys, like, with Will Smith and
But they didn't follow them to the movies, though. I'm talking about we need to be close by.
No, I'm going to be there. No. If we are at the 25 age where you can date, I'm going to go 25. You're probably going to go 30.
But are you saying that I'm crazier than you are?
You are, because you're a dad.
Maybe I am.
We're probably going to be like, let's just do like a double date where we all like, and actually like, let's bring grandma and grandpa too. Let's all be there.
See, we have issues.
It's okay.
Going back to sleepovers. If you and your partner, you've come to some kind of understanding of what makes sense for both of you. Remember, it's not about the quantity of nights you share. Because some people would want to maximize that, right? But it's not about the quantity. It's about the quality of the moment you spend together.
I agree.
Because I think the purpose of spending time together is probably, get to know each other.
Yeah, build a
learn some of your behaviors to see if I can deal with them.
Yeah.
Because some of us, we have ways that we behave outside of our homes, and we have ways that we behave inside of our homes.
I agree.
And you'll find, if I can get along with how you behave inside of your home, that allows me to build a connection that's a lot more profound with you. Because when we out, we put a facade, we put a face, we're in our best behaviors.
Yeah.
So quality of the time you spend together is important.
Yeah, some people may feel like, it's just too much. You hang out here too much. Imagine
you gotta let the person breathe.
like imagine if you the girl and you go to the boyfriend or your friend, your special friend's house, and then the parents is like, man, this girl be coming here all the time. All she does is come here. I mean, to me, I want you to see that I have value. I want you to be able to say, you know what? I appreciate how she acts about certain things or she behaves about certain things, but you don't want to be the one that comes all the time. I mean, you got to set a limit.
Let me just say this. If you live with your parents, you have no business having sleepovers.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, if you live on your own, by all means, have it. But going back to your points, yes, you don't want to seem too easy.
Right.
You don't want to seem too needy or clingy.
Yeah.
Listen, men, especially, I know that sometimes we just want our own time. Don't be showing up at my place every day or keep calling me every day. Sometimes I just want to be by myself.
I agree. I get it.
And let me be. You know, but you know, this is why the communication comes up. Because if I'm the type that don't want you showing up every day, we need to set the guidelines that you don't need to be showing up every day.
Right, which is true.
Don't expect me to show up every day either.
Yeah. Yeah.
She did want me to show up to her place every day.
Not really. I think we had our days. We had like the weekend, of course. But I think you come over once or twice a week.
Yeah.
Because you were working and I was working. I was in school.
But she would call me every day.
Okay. We were dating. Yes, I would call you every day. You would call me too. So there's a difference when you are dating versus like, you know, me go to your place all the time and hang out in your room.
You couldn't run to my place. My dad wouldn't take that.
It's not even... See, that's the thing too. Another thing a lot of you guys don't realize that when you are going to the parents' house, right? You hanging out in the room or you there constantly all the time, the parents are gonna feel like, hey, like don't you have a home?
I know one thing my parents would say, this girl have parents or something?
They would think that. They would be like, okay, if you've done it here so many times, I'm sure you've done it before. How many homes? Sometimes they're probably going to feel like you're way too comfortable, first of all. If you're going to the boys' room or hang out, like make it seem like it's your place, you'll feel too comfortable. That means you've done it before in the past. Like me, when I go to someone's house, whether if it was your parents' house at the time, I would sit my butt down in the chair until it's time for me to leave.
Yeah, no hanging out in my room. Living room is where you hang.
Yeah, either the living room,
where everybody could see you,
the dining room, or the kitchen sometimes.
Yeah. But you know, if you're living in your apartment, it becomes a different story.
Yeah.
Right? Because you don't have parents there. And this is what's important, that boundaries are set.
Yes.
Because then it becomes you self-governing what you do.
Right.
And you just can't just be whatever. You have to make sure that you set some boundaries, both the men and the woman, whoever you are.
I agree.
Set those boundaries.
I agree. And if you happen to have your own place, you know, you're dating someone, I think, you know, what you said is so important for you to really be like, hey, listen, I go to work because you both work. If you work or you have your own business, it's going to be where, okay, I have to be able to tell you I can't have you come here all the time. And you got to be able to be out of your feelings and say, you know what? I understand. I get it. Yeah. And if I have my own place and, you know, I'm dating you, you need to know that you can come over Monday through Friday.
Yeah.
No. If we're going to be one day a week, then the weekends we can go out, but then not having you come over all the time.
Yeah. I mean, some weekends it may ended up going out and then it ends up back to
the place.
Yeah. And that's a possibility. In fact, I think that's how it should work out. You go and you have a good time and then you finish with a good time.
I don't know about, you know, start with a good time and end with a good time.
Yeah.
I mean, we can end a good time by saying good night, you know, I'll talk to you in the morning.
I'm talking about a real good time.
But now here's the question, guys. Right? How often should you have your partner sleep over? How often? What is appropriate? Like I mentioned earlier, I am not a fan at all. I'm not a fan, and I feel like what works for you works for you. Everybody's different. I'm one of those people where I just couldn't. I'm too Christian I feel like I'm doing something wrong, and God would be like, "Sister, you know what you're doing is wrong. You should be having no man come to your place until you married or whatever." But it's just me. That's just how I am. I'm too Christian. I'm too religious for me to be like, "Okay, come over." I'm just not that. I'm not a fan.
If you like sissy, and there's nothing wrong with that though.
Yeah. Thank you.
There's nothing wrong with that, and one day you gotta think. Listen, if you're a woman, you're constantly over my place. I'm gonna think, how many guys have you been constantly over their place? That started having me think about all type of stuff on, how easy are you? How many people have done stuff unusual to you because you've allowed yourself to be? Right. Are you trying to trap me or something?
You're too easy.
So, but when it goes down to how often, yes, it comes down to what makes sense for you.
Right.
But what makes sense for you? Sometimes you have to take your feelings out of it. Because I know sometimes when you just get with someone, you want to see this person every day. Every day. You got to learn to, take that feeling out and allow yourself to say, okay, does it make sense? Does it make sense for me to be showing up at this person's place every day? Do I really need to? Right? Am I allowing myself to get used and abused? Well, that doesn't sound too good, but it could happen.
My dad always say that.
You're not a piece of meat?
That's one thing my dad said all the time. You're not a piece of meat. Don't let a man touch it too much. And he always say that.
So on my opinion, I think maybe once or twice a week, and more like once.
Once a week. If you want to go that route, like I said, we said before, sleepovers can be beautiful. I think it's a way to get you guys closer to each other, and it's a way for you to build this foundation, this thinging, right? Let's get you stronger. I think. Yeah. I don't know. But you're not a piece of meat. I'm just saying.
Once a week, maybe for my daughters. Never.
Yes, never.
But you can look at to see, okay, does this make sense? Once a week, you hang out with your partner, you sleep over, do whatever, and eventually, and obviously, you got to make sure that whichever relationship that you find yourself, when you find yourself engaged in sleeping over, it has to be a relationship that both of you see going somewhere.
Right.
If it's just a fling or one of these like for the moment type of things, I'll let you decide. But if I was in your shoes, I wouldn't.
Yeah. No.
Because the moment that you start sleeping over at someone's place, this is a different level of your relationship.
True that.
It's no longer we're trying this out. No, it's kind of like, you know what? We know that we're committed to each other. Yeah. And it's another this level. Is the next phase.
It's another level
of that relationship for me to really get to know you and really get to understand where you're coming from in terms of some of your home habits.
Right.
Not like I met you 2 weeks ago and we're relaxing. Although some people may do it, but I don't think it's the right way to do things like that.
But now the question is, how long though should you have someone sleep over?
Well, if you're sleeping over, you just spend the night and the next day you go. I don't want you staying with. Now, if you decided to move in together to something else.
Like, should someone start doing it after 6 months, after a year?
Well, it'll depend. It'll vary. I mean, I would hate to see it happening like a month into the relationship. I think that's too soon because there's still a whole lot of things you need to learn about this person.
Well, a month is only 30 days.
Yeah, so a month is way too soon.
I would say after.
I'd say gauge it to see where you are with this person.
Give it 6 months.
Depends on the comfort level. Someone may go 6, someone may go 9, someone may go 3 months. Yeah. I just think in 30 days, it's way too short of a time to be at another level of that relationship.
I agree.
Right? So,
but I just don't think that, listen, what works for you works for you. For me, I'll be like, listen, after you put a ring on it, then you can sleep over. Not until we got a ring on this, okay?
That's kind of what happened with me.
Well, that's how it's supposed to be.
That's kind of what happened to me.
This is what happened. What, 13 years later?
No wonder where I'm damaged.
You damaged? In a good way. That's good damage, okay? I'm just saying.
Yes.
Yeah, I kind of get it. After, if it works for you, I would say, listen, if you're a grown woman or a grown man and you have your own place, I mean, you like very mature and you are grown. I'm talking about grown, right? You decide what's going to work for you. And like we said earlier, don't think a week or a month is like the way to have someone just slide right in and come in. I just don't think it's right. But then again, it's your life. So you do what you do. But now, what happens if you have too many sleepovers too soon though, babe? What happened? What do you feel like is going to happen? Like my dad said all the time, if you're not a piece of meat, don't let them touch it too much, because he was referring that to you.
Again, as I said earlier, if you're constantly being at my place, it's going to make me feel like you're clingy, you're needy, and you may put a strain on that relationship. So, listen, it's good to have great sexual chemistry. It's a good thing.
Yep.
But you know, that's one thing. It doesn't really let you know if you're compatible or not, because there's a lot more things that go into us being compatible with each other.
Yep.
So, spending too much time together, yes, it may make you seem like you're too easy.
Yeah.
Way too easy.
I agree.
Way too easy. But, ration a little bit. Don't give it all out once. Eventually, there'll be time where it's all given, but not at certain stages of your relationship.
And I think sometimes that's when you truly know if this guy or if this girl is willing to wait, right? Dating someone doesn't mean that, hey, we're together today, we're going to jump into it tomorrow. Because it takes time for you to know a whole person, all right? It takes time. Like, you don't know whether this person have done this. This could be like what they do. They get with girls and then they jump in and they move on and they go to the next person. But you got to really know the person like at first.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm just saying, again, it's my opinion as a Christian girl. The way my mama raised me is that you wait. My daddy say you don't let a man touch it too much because you're not a piece of meat. You know how when you have a meat, you make sure it's well, seasoning and marinated and all that. You keep touching the meat all around. You're not that. Okay, so you gotta be able to say, it's okay after you put a ring on it.
Okay, I guess I'm safe now.
Well, after 18 years, yes, you are safe. But yes, we are raising girls, and we're gonna tell our daughter the same thing. Make sure that this is not you. There's certain things you gotta follow. And I mean, I truly feel like old ways still work. People think that the old ways don't work anymore. Our parents' ways still work. They've been married for 40 plus years. And I think, they took their time and, they get married and they have children and all that. But people nowadays think that the old way is too long.
But society has changed, and certain things, people choose to believe in certain things. So they think as time evolves, they have to evolve. But I think as we evolve, we're losing some of the principle that served us well in the old days.
Yes.
You
gotta set. And here's another thing, Barry. Now, let me ask you this: how can someone, a woman, like a young woman, set boundaries with a partner who come over too often, who sleep over too often? I should say, right?
What I say to this is know what you want.
Right.
And stay what you want and what you expect very early on.
Would you have told me that I'm coming over too often if we were in that category?
Yes, you would have. And even if I didn't, you would have gotten the vibe from my parents. But if I was living on my own, yes, I would have kind of said, this is how we're going to do things.
Unless if you just like.
Yes, I mean, if my intentions is to just have fun and move on.
Yeah.
Yes, but if my intentions, and obviously my intentions with you was, let's see what we do to build a life together.
Right.
Yes, there are moments that I don't need you to be around, and I would, and the best way to set boundary is to come out early on and state what you expect.
Yes, I agree.
And that's what we started out earlier. Says communication is always key when it comes to these things. You got to talk about what it is that you want, what it is that you expect.
Right.
And if you set it early on, it eliminates any elements of surprise.
Yes.
Because this way, both of you know this is what's expected. This is that. These are the things that I don't like. These are the things that I appreciate. These are certain way I expect things to happen.
Yeah.
If you set that on early on, then no one will be surprised. So if I said, you know what, maybe we're going to spend time once a week or twice a week, and you start showing up 3 or 4 times a week, I'm going to say, hey, that's not what we agreed on. And
unless
this,
if you're dropping by surprise, like, hey,
listen, surprising is it doesn't hurt. It's just that when you're
Once
showing
in a
up,
while.
hanging out at my place, maybe sometime I just want to be by myself,
well, yeah, we have.
right? So
Damn.
sometimes I may want to be by myself. We all have these moments where we want to be by ourselves.
Well, yes,
But the best way to set those boundaries is to come out early.
yeah,
If we're going to do this, sleeping over, spending time over, if that's what we're going to do, we kind of lay out, this is how it's going to happen.
right.
Now, that doesn't mean once you lay it out, it can't change, because relationship goes to different stages. Then it may come to a point where you're like, I think we're good enough. We're going to move in together. Obviously, I never did that. So I don't know at what point it will get to that point.
Yeah.
In our case, it's after we got married, we did this. But many people have moved in together before that moment. And through communication, through understanding of where we are, you can make that determination. So at one point in your relationship, okay, is it a good time for us now to move on? And it needs to be something that both of you agree on. Not just, I want it, you're not quite there, and I force you into it, because that's a recipe for disaster.
It sure is a recipe for disaster.
Right? So
Yeah,
boundaries,
I agree.
set it early on.
Yeah, from the beginning. Like, not the first day, but at least let the person know, hey, listen, we've been dating for 30,
X amount of
60
time,
days
whatever it
now,
may
and this is what's going on, and I like for us to have a schedule. There's nothing wrong for us to be on a schedule, right?
Yeah.
We were on a schedule, I feel like, because you would come by my parents like once a week, and then on the weekends,
No, it was sometime more than once a week.
listen,
It felt that way. Felt that I was spending too much time at this woman's place,
I would say maybe the second year you were spending more time. Yeah,
Oh yeah, it did increase over time.
Well, yes. In the beginning, it wasn't like that.
No, in the beginning, I ain't even sure about your place. We were just
Yeah.
meeting at the church.
Yeah, in the beginning, we were just like, okay. And then year 2, my husband was like, okay, I'm going to come by once or twice a week. And then year 3, he's there almost every day.
No.
And year 4, we're like, okay, what's going on? You be coming here too much. So we putting a ring on it or what? You propose in year 4 or year 5. No.
I don't know. It was one of those years.
Year 5. Year 5.
It took 5 years for me to propose.
It took 5 years. It took 5 years. See?
I'm a good man.
This is what happened when you wait on the Lord. 5 years later. Now it's,
Patience.
Yeah. This is what happened.
Good things come to
Not
those who
everyone
wait.
can listen. Hey, that's the song right there. Who's singing? Wycliffe?
No.
But it's the truth, guy. 5
Yes.
years. Dated 5 years. After 5 years, we got engaged. And then, of course, it took some time. Yes, we really got used to, So, yes, it is a lot easier to make sure you set your boundaries in the beginning, because now I know and he knows this is what's going to go down. And I would say for sure, when you're setting your boundaries, we mentioned this earlier, I think limit the amount of nights that you spend at the other person's place, because you don't want to do it every night. Okay? You want to make sure you have a certain amount of time, y'all, because people need to have their place. People need to have their time. I'm just saying. I know sometimes when you're in love, you want to make sure that you with the person 24/7, but does he really want to be with you 24/7? Because it's just going to be, because you want to miss them. You want to miss the person that you want to miss your significant other. You want to miss them. You want to be like, man, I wish, when we're on the phone, we were like, am I going to see you tomorrow? We have this little moment. And then he's like, no, I'm working late. I'm like, okay, I already know what's going to go down.
Anyway, hey, listen, this I hope this gives you guys some ideas to how you could, or what makes sense when it comes to spending time with a partner. And this is one of the things that we try to bring to you guys to help you kind of make sense of where you are in your relationship, what makes sense. And if you'd like to learn more about different things that we've talked about, there should be a link to another video somewhere up there. Just click on it, check it out, because what we do here in this podcast, we try to say as much as we can based on our personal experience and also on research that we've conducted on how to best go about handling things in your relationship. So remember, this podcast come out every Saturday. Some Saturday it comes later in the day, like this Saturday.
Like this weekend. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, so, but another Saturday, typically around the morning of, it'll be out. And our goal is obviously to share as much as we can. So we appreciate you guys tuning in to watch our podcast today.
Yes.
And we appreciate you. We love you. Please remember to subscribe. Very important. And leave us some comments. We'd like to hear your thoughts.
That's right.
So until next time,
stay happy, stay healthy, and keep spreading the love.
Peace.
Bye.